Well, thank you for joining us for our third posting of the Public Finance Conversation for April 2021. And once again, I'm here with Glenn McGowan. We've talked about the yield curve increasing on Monday. We've talked about BABs, Build America bonds, being a part of the infrastructure program. But there's another key piece, and that is tax-exempt advance refundings. And so for those of you who that just sounds like a lot, what that is typically municipal bonds have something called a call feature. That call feature allows the issuer to buy the bonds back from the investors. And if that is done with more than 90 days before the call date, then that is considered an advance refunding. And as it stands now, that cannot be done on a tax-exempt basis. The Tax Cut and Jobs Act of 2017 changed that. You used to be able to do tax-exempt refundings at least one time per original issuance prior to that Tax Cut and Jobs Act of 2017. So, Glenn, since 2017, I think about every quarter I have someone calling me saying, guess what? We're going to get tax-exempt advance refundings back. And I've started saying, this reminds me of Lucy holding a football for Charlie Brown to kick it. Because every quarter I feel like someone ends up on their rear end trying to kick that football. So if this comes back, do you see this as a tool, or do you think that with the way you've been able to get so much done on a taxable basis, it works just fine that way?
Yeah, good question. So, your first question really addressed the idea of interest rates moving higher. And I think as we talked about, because MMD, tax-exempt municipal bond rates, have actually outperformed treasuries, meaning that we haven't moved to higher rates at as fast a pace. We've sort of lagged that movement. The relative value right now for the issuer base really skews toward a tax-exempt bond versus a taxable bond. And so on a comparative basis, if we had the ability to refund debt on a tax-exempt advance refunding basis, we would certainly see more activity in that marketplace. I think the difference in this conversation now versus at various points in the last several years is that now there's a more uniform voice supporting the return of tax-exempt advance refundings. It's not just coming from the dealer community or the FA community. It's coming from lawmakers. It's coming from governmental officials who are, on the ground in states and local governments, who see the true benefits of a tax-exempt advance refunding on their communities and the significant tax dollars that it saves. So I'm optimistic that it will come back. I'm hoping that as the infrastructure plan or whatever bill it winds up getting attached to in Congress, makes its way forward during the debating process, that this is a provision that winds up being maintained in the final bill. I think most industry professionals think that that's probably the case now. And again, I think a lot of that has to comes down to the uniform voice supporting the benefits of that strategy. But I think at the end of the day, we have an issuer base that is always open to the opportunity to lock in taxpayer savings when they're available at reasonable cost. And I think that the tax-exempt advance refunding product is a powerful tool that will enable that savings to be generated and to be benefited by local communities across the country. So I think that's one of the best tools that the federal government can give our issuer base, is the return of that product. That's a powerful product that provides significant savings to communities across the country. And hopefully, as the infrastructure plan makes its way forward, this will be part of the final bill.
Okay. Great. Well, Glenn, thank you for taking time with our audience and myself. I've always found our conversations to be very helpful. You may not know this, but before I recorded our first MMU, the Municipal Market Update, and I thought I had all my thoughts dialed in, I called you a Friday before I started recording them on the following Monday. And I have found that you've always given me a different perspective or something I didn't quite account for. And I think that's a real testament to the due diligence and the commitment that you have to being on top of the municipal market. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Adam. I appreciate that. And thank you very much for having me in these segments. I've appreciated it.
Thank you.